Welcome to Money in Mind. We make money, business, and the economy simple. Learn how money really works and make smarter financial decisions.
You get paid, you spend some, you save some. And you have probably never once traced where that money actually goes after it leaves your hands. Today we are going to trace the whole thing. Your paycheck, the bank, the Federal Reserve, the government, and all the way back to you. 8 minutes. The whole map. Let's go. Stop one. Your paycheck. Say you make $70,000 a year. That is not what shows up in your bank account. Before you ever see a dollar of it, federal income tax takes a bite. Social Security takes about 6%. Medicare takes a smaller slice on top of that. State tax takes another piece depending on where you live. By the time all of that is done, a big chunk of your $70,000 never actually touches your hands. It goes straight from your employer to the government before you even get paid. Here is what that means for you. When you look at your paycheck and wonder where a chunk of it went, it did not disappear. It went to fund Social Security checks for retirees right now, the roads you drive on, and the military. That is stop one. Money leaves your job and splits in 2 directions before it even reaches you. Stop 2. The bank. Whatever is left lands in your checking or savings account. Here is the part almost nobody thinks about. Your bank does not just hold that money in a vault waiting for you. It lends most of it out. If you deposit $1,000, the bank might keep a small portion on hand and loan out the rest to someone buying a house or starting a business. That is not shady. That is literally the business model of a bank. They pay you a tiny bit of interest for letting them use your money. Then they charge someone else a much bigger interest rate to borrow it. The gap between what they pay you and what they charge borrowers is how the bank makes its money. Here is what that means for you. Your bank account is not a safe sitting still. It is money constantly moving out the door into other people's mortgages and loans and constantly moving back in. Stop 3. The Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is basically the group that sets the price of borrowing money for the entire country. Right now, that rate sits at around 3.5 to 3.75%. When the Federal Reserve moves that number up or down, it ripples through everything. Your mortgage rate, your car loan, your credit card interest rate, even the interest your savings account pays you. Think of it like the thermostat for the whole economy. When prices are rising too fast, the Federal Reserve turns the rate up to slow down borrowing and spending. When the economy is sluggish, it turns the rate down to make borrowing cheaper and encourage people to spend again. Here is what that means for you. That mortgage rate you got quoted last month did not come out of nowhere. It is directly connected to a decision made by a small group of people setting one national number. Stop 4. The government. Now let's follow the tax dollars that got pulled out of your paycheck back in stop 1. Where do they actually go? 3 buckets eat up most of it. Social Security and Medicare together are the single biggest chunk. The military is another major piece. And interest on money the government has already borrowed is now one of the fastest growing pieces of the whole pie. Here is the part that matters. The government does not just spend what it collects in taxes. It spends more than that every single year and borrows the difference. That borrowed money has to be paid back with interest, just like a loan on your own credit card. Which means a growing share of your tax dollars every year goes not toward new things, but toward paying interest on old borrowing. Here is what that means for you. Some of the tax dollars pulled from your paycheck this year are not paying for anything happening in 2026. They are paying for spending that already happened years ago. Stop 5. Back to you. Now here is where the whole map connects into a circle. When the Federal Reserve changes rates, that changes how much it costs businesses to borrow money. When it costs businesses more to borrow, they raise prices to cover it. That shows up in your grocery bill and your gas bill. When the government borrows heavily, it competes with you and with businesses for the same pool of money, which can push interest rates higher across the board. And when a bigger share of the federal budget goes to interest payments instead of other things that shapes what programs are available to you down the road, including Social Security and Medicare that you may be counting on. Your paycheck funds the government. The government spending and borrowing shapes interest rates and prices. Interest rates shape what banks charge you and pay you. And all of it eventually shows up back in your own paycheck, your own bank account, and your own monthly bills. It is one big loop, not a bunch of separate systems. One loop with you standing at every single point of it. So here is the one thing to walk away with. Money in this country is not something that just sits in your wallet waiting to be spent. It is constantly moving through your paycheck into banks, into interest rates, into government spending, and right back into your daily prices. Once you can see the whole loop, you stop being confused by any single piece of it because you know exactly how it connects to all the others. If this finally made the whole system click for you, hit subscribe because next week we are zooming into one single stop on this map and going much deeper. Drop a comment and tell me which stop on this map surprised you the most. I read every single one. I will see you in the next video.